In an age where landfills overflow and microplastics pollute oceans, the concept of zero waste has become a modern rallying cry. Yet, for indigenous communities worldwide, living with minimal waste has been a foundational way of life for centuries. Their practices exemplify a deep respect for resources and a commitment to sustainability, offering valuable lessons for contemporary societies. For indigenous peoples, the zero-waste philosophy is not a trend, but a cultural norm, deeply embedded in their worldview. This approach is driven by a profound respect for the natural world and the belief that all resources are interconnected and finite. Whether hunting, gathering, or crafting, every action is guided by principles of necessity, gratitude, and renewal. In many indigenous traditions, animals are considered sacred beings whose lives are honored through full utilization of their bodies. This practice minimizes waste and maximizes the utility of every hunt. Food. The meat is consumed, ensuring sustenance for the community. Clothing and shelter. Hides are used for clothing, footwear, and tents. Tools and weapons. Bones are crafted into tools, needles, or weaponry. Art and ceremony. Feathers, sinews, and horns are often used in cultural expressions or sacred rituals. For example, the Plains tribes of North America used every part of the buffalo, a practice that sustained their communities for generations. By contrast, industrialized hunting practices often prioritize profit over efficiency, leading to excessive waste. Composting and natural recycling are intrinsic to indigenous lifestyles. Organic waste, such as food scraps or plant matter, is returned to the earth, enriching the soil and completing a natural cycle of renewal. Ashes from fires are used to fertilize crops. Leftover plant materials are decomposed to create nutrient-rich compost for farming. Biodegradable tools made from wood or bone naturally return to the ecosystem at the end of their life cycle. This approach starkly contrasts with modern waste systems, which rely heavily on synthetic, non-biodegradable materials that persist in landfills for centuries. Indigenous artisans traditionally create tools, clothing, and structures with durability and purpose at the forefront. Items are designed for long-term use and, when they reach the end of their life, are repurposed into something new. Basket weaving involves using natural materials like reeds and grasses, which eventually decompose back into the earth. Clothing repair and repurposing ensure that garments are used to their fullest potential before being replaced. This stands in stark contrast to the fast fashion and disposable consumer culture that dominates modern markets. The zero-waste practices of indigenous peoples offer clear lessons for today's industries and consumers. Adopting circular models can help reduce waste and create more sustainable systems. Product design. Create items that are reusable, repairable, and biodegradable. For example, designing electronics with easily replaceable parts rather than planned obsolescence aligns with this philosophy. Packaging innovation. Replace single-use plastics with materials like plant-based polymers or recycled paper. Composting and bioenergy. Organic waste from households, restaurants, and farms can be turned into compost or converted into bioenergy. Perhaps the most powerful lesson from indigenous zero-waste practices is the mindset of consuming only what is needed. Overconsumption and unnecessary waste are hallmarks of modern societies, but this can be countered by embracing the principles of necessity and gratitude. Buy less, use more. Prioritize quality over quantity and repair over replacement. Minimize food waste. Plan meals thoughtfully. Store food properly, and compost scraps. Share resources. Indigenous communities often share resources collectively, ensuring nothing goes to waste. Modern industries have much to learn from the zero-waste practices of indigenous peoples. The shift to a circular economy, where products are designed for reuse, repair, and eventual biodegradability, mirrors the time-tested strategies that indigenous cultures have practiced for centuries. Companies can invest in sustainable materials that decompose naturally or can be fully recycled. Implement closed-loop systems where products are returned to the manufacturer for reuse or safe disposal. Educate consumers on minimalist lifestyles and the importance of reducing waste. Indigenous zero-waste practices remind us that sustainability is not just about reducing our footprint, it's about living in harmony with the natural world. By adopting these practices in our daily lives and industries, we can begin to reverse the damage caused by overconsumption and waste. As we strive toward a zero-waste future, let's remember that this path has already been walked for generations by Indigenous communities who view the Earth not as a commodity, but as a shared home. Their wisdom, rooted in respect and balance, offers a roadmap for a cleaner, more sustainable planet. As the saying goes, take only what you need and leave the rest for others. By embracing this philosophy, we honor the Earth and ensure its bounty for generations to come.